So good afternoon, all of you. Uh, let's continue further. I think in the last lecture we discussed about hierarchical inheritance. Okay. Even we have discussed multi-level inheritance. Okay. Now the last two type of inheritance today we'll be discussing. The first is multiple inheritance. Okay. Multiple means what? We are having two parents derived to one child. Okay. So the same thing. Let us see a very basic, simple example to implement that. So what benefit we get and what are the problems in that we'll discuss it today. I hope my screen is visible. Okay, we are going to implement multiple inheritance. Let's say I'm having class M, any class. Let's say I'm having class M with one data member. Let it be protected. I'm taking small m. Public section. We are writing two functions: void get m and void put m. Okay, so now void m scope resolution get m, but you are remembering this part. Okay, if we declare function, if we define function inside the class, it is inline. If it is defining outside the class, then it is our normal function. Okay, sir, what to do? It's both are fine. If you are having less than two, if you are having line of 2 to 3, if you are having code of 2 to 3 lines, then you make it inline, no problem with that. Okay, so just ભૂલાઈ ના જાય ને એટલે હું આ પાછું કરું છું. Otherwise, if you refer to my previous programs, I had started writing the logic into the function itself, defining the function in the class itself. Now, when you will be in next semester, when you learn Java programming, everything will be in the class only. There will be nothing, even definition will not be outside the class. Everything compulsory in the class. Okay, so void m, get m. In that we are writing cout, enter m. We'll take the value from the user. Just understand the structure, please. Don't go into the logic of the program at this point. Simply we are going to get the value of m from the user. But how we are writing, that is important. Is it fine? Similarly, I am having another class, let's say n class. I'm taking, this was m, now I am taking n. Taking value n, get n, put n. Same way we will be defining the functions, get n. For here, enter n, p in n, put n. N is equals to n. Sorry. Class name void n. Is fine? Still, there is no inheritance. We are going to implement multiple inheritance. So these two classes, class M and class N, will be deriving it to a third class for us. And that third class, let's say I write it to be class, let me give it to be P, inherits. Now multiple Means two class I want to inherit. So class P inherits public M. How to write N also? We need to derive N also. Two class we need to inherit. So comma public N. Say if you are in one more class, third class, then comma public, that fits. Is it fine? So this is multiple inheritance. Rule applies the same. Which are accessible will be transferred over here. Again, security remains concept same. That whatever the security is there, when we are deriving, it will remain same. Okay. So now in this case, class P. Now in this class, I do not want any of its own members. In class P, I don't want something like int P. I don't have it. What I'm having is I want to merge this M and N in P. I need to derive those two common properties, those two properties in one single class. So that is the purpose. So class P inherits public M, public N. Is it fine? Now in public section, I am adding one function named as void display. Void display. In that I am displaying put M, put N, and lastly, what I want is see out the multiplication of both M and N. An extra feature. M into N is equals to M into N. Is this statement correct? First of all, syntactically. Okay, first of all, now let me ask you. Can I access M and N variable in P class? How? Inheritance. What is the access specifier of M and N? Protected. So protected members can be used in inherited class. So right now it is fine. No problem with this. It is correct. Okay. So my job is done almost. Now anything remaining is the demonstration of this class through void main. Void main is only used for the purpose of demonstrating the class. Nothing else. Void main in any language is meant for just igniting or initiating or starting the execution of the program. Rest logic remains in the classes. Rest all logic remains in the classes. Are you getting my point? So over here, so over here in void main, what I'll do is I'll make object of which class? P class, exactly. I will not make object of M or N. So I'll make P, P1. And I'll write, what I'll write? First of all, I need to get the value of M and N. So what should I write? P1 dot get M, P1 dot get N. Are they valid? Using P, can I access them? Yes, because they are public. And again, they are inherited. Okay. Now, P1 dot display. Is it fine? Compile. Output has no sense right now. It's our standard output. Enter M, let's say 5. Enter N, let's say 10. So output will be M equals to N equals to and M into N equals to. Oh, sorry. Is it fine? So, can you people state me real-time example of multiple inheritance? Where I can merge two properties into one. Exactly, but can you state any real example? You are absolutely correct. Example. Say for example, I want to calculate CIBIL score. Have you heard of CIBIL score? CIBIL, CIBIL. I want to calculate CIBIL score. Now, what is CIBIL score first? CIBIL score is a score which gives you your credit ratings with respect to your banks. Say, for example, if you go to a bank for getting a loan, so first of all, they will find out your CIBIL score. That means how much you are regular to pay the loan amounts, how much you are regular in paying the credit card bills, how much you are regular in your this banking processes. That will be a CIBIL score. Say for example, if my check has bounced any time, कोई ने मैं check typo है ना check bounce जो है, बराबर तो that will degrade my CIBIL score. So that CIBIL score calculation is based on many things. If I want to calculate CIBIL score, then I need the data from bank loan accounts. I need to have the data from credit cards. Again, I can have multiple companies' credit cards. So I need to have the data from all that. So I need to inherit all those in one. And based on that, I can calculate my CIBIL score. Are you getting this example? So this is the real-time scenario. Similar examples, you need to search it out where multiple inheritance can be applied. Fine? Okay. So this is all about multiple inheritance. But there is one problem. So can you state it? Yes. Say for example, just understand. Say for example, I am having a putm function over here. Putm. Instead of that, I write display function. Name of the function, I am keeping a display. Similarly, so I need to change it over here also. Similarly, in n class, this is the specific talking for multiple inheritance only, with respect to multiple inheritance. Say for example, in n class, also instead of putn, I wrote display. And I defined it to be display. Do you find any problem in this? So don't you think I need to write display over here? By calling. Again, don't you think instead of this also I need to call a display? What's the problem now? What's the problem? Now this is an ambiguity problem for compiler. This is an ambiguity problem. That this display should be called of M or N. Again, this display should be called for M or N. આપણને ખબર છે. We are knowing that this first display should be of M. Compiler. What's the problem? What is to be done? I need to specify somewhere that this display is of M and this is for N. Nah, થોડાક નજીક છો. કોલન નહીં શું? શું use કરીએ છીએ? This display is of class M, so you need to say M scope resolution operator display. This display is of N, so you need to say N scope resolution operator display. So now compiler will understand that this display is of M class and this display is for M. Did you get this? Let's try to check it out. Is it fine now? See, one new thing you got, some problem. When I say, it may happen that in both the classes we can have same name of function. It is not wrong. But in that case, you need to be alert while doing multiple inheritance that this display is of this class and this display is of this class. Is it fine? Got this point? તો પેરામીટર અલગ થઈ જશે ને, એમાં તો પેરામીટર અલગ આવી જશે. Is it fine, everyone? Should I move further? Should I move further? Okay. Still one more concept is there over here. In the same example, still one more concept is there. Over here, just check out. Can you say in all these three classes we are having display? That means if I forget about n also, in m class we are having display. When it got inherited to p, so can I say display comes in the public section of this class of m class, but already display is there for p. કેવું થયું, મારી પાસે મારી પોતાની વસ્તુ હતી, મારી પાસે મારી પોતાની વસ્તુ હતી, પણ મારા પેરેન્ટ્સે મને સેમ વસ્તુ પાછી આપી. તો હવે હું કઈ વસ્તુ યુઝ કરીશ? Something like that. Something. I am having my own car. Let's say I am having my own Maruti Swift Desire car. But my parents give me his car, which is, let's say, Maruti 800. Which car you are going to use? Are you going to use your parents' car? No, મારી પાસે Swift Desire હોય તો હું 800 શું કામ વાપરું? ભલે ને parents આપી, સારી રીતે આપી, સાચી રીતે આપી, whatever it is. We are not talking with respect to emotions. We are talking with practically. I am not going to use my parents' car. I am going to use my car. That means, can I say I have overruled my parents' property? Overruled. Another example. Suppose right now you are having lecture of, let's say, Tejas sir. Tejas sir comes to you that you are having free lecture, please you can leave. Your lecture is suspended. And somehow I scold you in the lobby. I was roaming here and there, I scold you into the lobby. Then why are you roaming here and there? So what you will say? Sir, Tejas sir has suspended the lecture. Now what I will say, you get inside the classroom, I am going to conduct your lecture. What you will do, in ideal case I am talking, not in practical case. What you will do? You will follow my rule or Tejas sir's rule? My rule. Why? That means you have overridden the decision. Earlier Tejas sir's decision was to suspend. But what you did now, you overrided the decision. Same way, in the same example, you have overridden the function. When inheritance took place between M and P, all the accessible members of M derived to P class. So what were the accessible members? Can I say member M and get M and display? આ ત્રણ વસ્તુ અહીંયા આપણને મળશે ક્યાં? P class માં. In P class we will be having M as well as get M as well as display. પણ P class પાસે પોતાનું display છે. With P class it is having own display. So when I write P1 dot display, which display will be called? Whether it will be called for your parents or yours child's, of course it will call for derived, because through which object it is called. So can I say it is overridden from the parent? This is nothing but termed as a function overriding. This is one of the concept of polymorphism. There are two important concepts of polymorphism. Number one, function overloading, and second, function overriding. Did you got this concept? See over here, this display function is overridden by this display function. मीन्स पेरेंट्स का जो डिस्प्ले फंक्शन था अभी वो चाइल्ड से जो डिराइव्ड क्लास था उसने ओवरराइड कर दिया. फाइन. The same thing happened for n also, because in n also we are having display. Over here p is having also its own display, so what p will execute? Its own display. Fine, all of you. Next, in next chapter we are having certain different policies in this, so please remember this concept, function overriding, because in chapter of virtual function will come across this part, will once again come across this part, function overriding. Is it fine, all of you? Should I move further? So we have completed multiple inheritance. Now we'll be discussing about the last type of inheritance, that is hybrid inheritance. Okay. In this case, I want you people to write the hybrid inheritance. Okay. Okay. I am having student class, or else no, I'm not taking note of it. See the inheritance type. Huh? All are requested to see the inheritance. Similar example we have done. That's why I'm going to ask you to implement this. Can you do this inheritance? Can I say this to be an hybrid inheritance? Which inheritance types you see in this? Can I say student test result is a multi-level inheritance? Test score result is a multiple inheritance. Okay. What you do is simply I'm just preparing the structure of it. Just preparing the structure of it. You guide me, what should I write? You guide me, what should I write? Structure you are having in front. So first of all, which class is required? Student. So class student. Then class test. Is it inheriting anyone? Inherits public student. Then class sports. Is it inheriting anyone? No. Absolutely correct. Then class result. Is it inheriting anyone? Whom? Public test and public sport. Did you get the structure? Now inside this, you know what is to be written. So let's say in student we take one member in protected section. to be integer roll. In public section, you write the functions void get roll. You define it. I'm not defining it over here. Just simply define it. And void put roll. Is it fine? Now what about test? Protected integer sub1 comma sub2. 2 subject mark, 5 subject mark, whatever you want to take. In public section, what should I write? Void get sub, void put sub. What about sport? Let's say in sport, I take protected member only, wherein I write integer score. Only score we keep it out of 100. Public void get score, void put score. What about result? It is inheriting test as well as sport. Can I say integer result in public section? Void result, or let's say void calculate result. What should I write in it? Or else instead of calculate, let me write display result. Calculate what formula should I write over here? Whatever client says, okay, for calculating or displaying result, what I am doing is simply calling put, first of all put roll, display करावं પડશે ને, then put sub, displaying the marks, then put score, all are accessible, and out result is equals to sub1 plus sub2 plus score. First, this is my formula. That's it. Did you get the concept? This is hybrid inheritance. Now, this doesn't complete. The important part is to check. Okay, fine. So now if I discuss, now we need to demonstrate something. We need to demonstrate this class, and demonstrate always occurs using void main. So you tell me, what should I write in void main? What should I write in void main? Result R1. Or let's say some student, let's say R1. R1 dot display result directly without getting data. R1 dot get absolutely. Then R1 dot get sub. R1 dot get score. Absolutely. Then display result. Fine. Still, this is what we have written: get score, get sub, get roll. This all we can combine in one function in this one, void get data in result class, wherein we can call them all together over here. That is the correct way. Get roll, get sub, and get score. That's it. So this is actually the ideal way. And what I'll write over here, instead of all these three calling separately, I'll be writing get data. See, my void main size is reduced. My main logic went into the class. Just one entry point I had given. Fine. Sometimes you can take entry point as constructor also. You can take entry point as constructor also. In constructor, you call these functions, like what I did in get data. This get data function, I made it. Instead of that, I can make a constructor of this class, and wherein I'll write this. So I need not to separately call them also. Constructor will automatically call these functions. That is another way, and industry use that way. Joe, let us try that also. Instead of writing get data, what I write is constructor result. Constructor result. In this, I'll be writing all this. I'll be calling those functions. We can. It is not only used for initialization. This is also one kind of initialization. Okay. So result. And over here, I do not require to call this also now. What happens when I write result R1? What will happen? Yes. So what will happen? Object of the class will be created. Now, if the object of the class is created, can I say constructor will be called automatically? So this will call all these three functions automatically. Again, one line removed from the void main. Are you getting my point? So sir, પછી આવું બધું ન કરાય, પછી થોડુંક રાખવું જોઈએ એમ. There is something. તો સર આ ડિસ્પ્લે આને જવા દે તો ડિસ્પ્લે રિઝલ્ટ ને અહીંયા જ મૂકી દે તો સર void main માં કાંઈ રહ્યું જ નહીં, ખાલી ઓબ્જેક્ટ બનાવી નાખો, કામ પૂરું થઈ ગયું. Yes, it is correct. I am not saying no to it. It is also correct. But always think with respect to programming, with respect to requirement, and based on that you can do that. Over here it is absolutely correct. First of all, it will get data and immediately it will display it. This is requirement right now, so it is fine. But sometimes it may happen that I need not to declare it, display the result immediately. I need to display it on some event. When I click on button, at that time it should display. But at that time I cannot do this. It depends on the requirement. Is it fine? All of you? This is all about inheritance. How many types? 5 types. Simple, multi-level, multiple, hierarchical, and hybrid. That's it. Along with that, we studied one more concept, function overriding, which is a part of polymorphism. Okay. Now, still one more thing I want to discuss today. Okay. For that, I am writing a program. All are requested to Observe the program very carefully. You have to give me the answer. Observe the class very carefully. You have to reply to my questions. What happens? What will be the output of this program? A constructor called B constructor. Let us check it out. Fine. What is this now? Inheritance. See the output. What happened? You have to tell me. Should I show you the code? See the code. This was called first. So A constructor. Then we called this object. So what this did? Before executing its own constructor, it executed its base class constructor first. That means it executed this constructor first. After completing this part, it came to its own constructor and then executed its own constructor. When inheritance is there, always base class constructor is executed first and then child class constructor, derived class constructor is executed. This is the working of constructor. Okay, let's do one thing. I'm removing this. So now, fine. See, again, sequence is also important. Parent will be executed first. Base class will be executed first. And then derived. Is it fine? Okay. You are knowing what I'm going to do is Now, what will which type of inheritance it is? First of all, multi-level. See the output. What compiler checked? We are making object of class C. So it went for executing the constructor of class C, this constructor, but at that time it encountered that there is inheritance done with class B. So it went for executing B class constructor. So it went for executing this B class constructor, default constructor only. But again, compiler encountered that B is also derived class from A. So it went for executing A first. Then compiler again checked, is there any other class derived for class A? No, there is no base class for A. So it executed this. Then after completion, it executed this. After this, it executed this construct. Fine. Did you get the concept? Now there is one exercise for you. Similar how constructor works in multiple inheritance. That you have to find it out. I'd shown you for simple, I'd shown you for multi-level. Now you have to search it out for multiple. How constructor works in multiple inheritance. In what sequence it is executed. Is it fine? All of you? Today we stop here. With this, our chapter of inheritance is over. Fine. From next lecture onwards, we'll be starting up with pointers and polymorphism. Okay. So now we are, with respect to mid exam, we are left out with 2 units, which we'll be discussing, which will be completed. And after mid exam, we'll be having 1 unit, which is to be completed. That is templates and exception handling. Okay. So next time we'll be starting up with pointers and polymorphism. Polymorphism, 2 things we have discussed. Method, function overloading and function overriding. Now still few concepts are there that we'll be discussing next time. Okay, in the chapter of polymorphism and pointers. Okay, thank you all of you. So today we stop here. All are requested to put enrollment numbers in the chat box.